Hey, everybody. We're in front of the mic with the Beyond the Books podcast brought to you by accountingdepartment.com. I'm your host, Kevin Dry, and today we're joined by Jenny. She's our assistant implementation director here at accountingdepartment.com. Jenny has worn many different hats for us, managed many different staff members over the years, and today she's here to discuss how we handle stress here at ADC. Thank you for joining me today, Jenny. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, awesome. Yeah, excited to have you over here. Now normally we start these things off with a typical, tell us a little bit about yourself,
Mhm.
your role at ADC, how long you've been with us, things like that, whatever you want to share. Yeah, go ahead.
Great. So I have been with ADC for almost 13 years,
Uh-huh.
13 years this month. I started out on the client services side as a
Okay.
controller, and then we differentiated and I was a senior controller, and now I'm on the implementation team. Came over as an implementation controller and recently promoted to assistant implementation director. So what I do with the company is as clients or prospects come to us and they sign on with
Mhm.
accountingdepartment.com, my team helps them move from their current application, whether they're in QuickBooks, I work with a NetSuite vertical, but we get them onboarded into our environment and
Mhm.
develop all those processes for them and move them over so that the client services team can be successful with them going forward.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we appreciate you getting our clients off to started on the right foot and everything. So
Yeah.
that's key here. So yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and start. Again, we are looking at ways that we manage stress here. So, January, we're coming off of a major crunch time. Feels like January is definitely the longest 3 months of the year, I'll say.
For sure.
And it seems like it takes way longer than the other months, but definitely crunch time here because of 1099 season. And we celebrated whenever we finished. So to celebrate, we just came off the heels of a wildly successful nationwide pizza party, the highlight of the year for a lot of us. But what many don't know is the history behind this pizza party. Jenny, you've been with us for a while now, and you've seen this annual pizza party grow from just a few dozen uh, just a few dozen people into nearly 200. Now, what
hmm
does the pizza party signify for you?
it actually it signifies like it's like a milestone. It signifies the end of stressful time
Hmm.
and that difficult effort is like behind us. So
Yeah.
I've been here where we didn't have the pizza party, so it started in the last 13-ish years. And historically, like our client services team, December and January are rough months anyway. It's year end, holidays, and then you throw 1099s on top of that. And even though it's part of their job, it's part of everybody's job, we recognize that it's a significant stressor and it causes a lot of art. And looking at what that added to our team. And if you were in a brick and mortar environment, you would bring in breakfast, you would bring in lunch, you would have something to celebrate.
Yeah.
And not letting that virtual setting really be an obstacle for us. It was decided back when there was like only 30 employees, I think.
Hmm.
Let's deliver pizzas to everybody. Like what a concept. And it was so much
Yeah.
fun. And we would be on calls, because we're still working, and like we'd be on calls. I'd be like, hold on a second, I think my pizza's here. And it was just fun to see everybody's excitement that day.
Yeah.
Um, so it's been a blast. Now we're over, 200 in anticipation that day because we start talking about it, and everybody who's been here is like, oh, it's so much fun. People
Yeah.
take pictures, with their pizzas, with, I've seen pictures with the delivery person who brought it. It's just fun. And
Yeah.
really is a way to recognize the hard effort that was put in. And it's more than just like delivering pizzas.
Yeah.
It's really feeling that appreciation and knowing, like, as we've grown, the Herculean effort to make sure that everybody gets their pizzas. And now we offer bagels as well. Or if you
Yeah.
have, it's just, it's a big effort. And it's not so much that it's effort, but it's knowing that companies invested in our well-being, like our happiness, knowing that we've done something really difficult and they're willing to put in not just the dollars to like, "Hey, we're going to deliver pizzas to everybody," but they're willing to put in the effort too to make it happen. So
Yeah.
it really does mark a milestone, I think, for everybody. It's a
Yeah.
great. event.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think, shout out to our HR department for ordering all of those pizzas,
Yes.
bagels, and everything. That's a lot of phone calls to make, a lot of online orders to place. And also, I like that they reach out to every employee and say, "Hey, what's your favorite local pizza place?" And so you truly get what you want. So you have something that you're, really looking forward to. So, um,
So
really cool to
considerate.
see how it started and everything with just the 30 people, and now we're at about 180 or so. So
Yeah.
really cool to see. Now we know 1099 season is stressful, but what are some other stressful times that we may encounter here?
They arise for a myriad of reasons. It could be a time crunch to complete some deliverables or tasks. For some people, it's a personal stress because they're doing something new to them.
Yeah.
Um, or it could be things out external. So, things at
Mhm.
home or something else that's happening that does cause people to be stressed. It may not even be something that's work related, but
Yeah.
I really feel like we truly care about our team's well-being.
Yeah.
Employee satisfaction is truly like the key to our clients being satisfied. So if our team's
Oh yeah.
running on fumes, right, burnt out, displeased, I don't know if they're going to do their best work. They're
Right.
rushing, they might be behind. So I think we really recognize that we want our culture to be caring. Again, it's just like
Yeah.
we care. And
Yeah.
when
It's
you have
huge.
stressed out employees, you want to make sure that you're identifying what's happening. So
Yeah.
I think what one of the ways we help with this is we have smaller teams. So we break up our overall, you know, employees into smaller teams. And so it really helps us keep a pulse on how people are feeling, what they're doing. We can sense it. We're on Zoom calls a lot. So sometimes there might be saying something, but maybe you're catching, facial expressions or something that that somebody needs some help. And we don't ignore that. It's a lot of communication. So if we see it, we address it. And I think everybody hopefully knows that we're open doors. So if somebody's stressed
Yeah.
out, somebody needs help, we listen. That's like the biggest things. We listen, we identify resources to help. I'm not above, nobody here is above jumping in and helping.
Yeah.
Um, so I think knowing that no one's on an island
Yeah.
is
Definitely.
key.
Yeah.
And
And I like that you had mentioned um noticing those nonverbal cues on calls and everything. I think it is important to keep an eye out for that as well.
yeah,
So just being mindful of that, especially whenever you're in a supervisory role or something like that. I think it means a lot to staff.
absolutely. And I know you've had a podcast about this already about our Nectar point system, but we also
Yeah.
use those as well. So when we have like an
Hmm.
initiative underway, again, not necessarily just to promote somebody for doing their job, but we have something that's out of the norm. We can use those Nectar points, right? So sometimes it's
Yeah.
a challenge for 10 people to finish something. They
Yeah.
get Nectar points. Sometimes it's, hey, if you can get it done. Like we know
Yeah.
this is an ask, and everybody who gets it done is going to get points. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good mix of reward in terms of like pizzas and points, but also like this genuine interaction too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's a great way to, mitigate and offset that stress, just knowing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and sometimes there might be, a little bit of a reward there, and you can take those nectar points and turn them in for gift cards or ADC swag or just whatever you want. Like there's so many things that nectar can do with those points. And it feels good, it's like Christmas. It feels good to give those gifts, but it also
Mhm.
feels good to get them. So that's cool.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
yeah. So why is it so critical to make this a priority?
Think thinking as employee perspective again, like you spend time developing a company culture, and so
Mhm.
having a staff that your employees that really understand that culture, they're happy to be here. All of that trends to having happy clients.
Yeah.
And there's cost, to onboarding your staff. And it's difficult right now to find people. who are going to be the
Hmm.
right person, promote your culture. So I just think it's a win. It's a win for people being happy to be here, and that sparks everybody else. If you come into a
Yeah.
call, right, and there's somebody who is having a bad day, sometimes they impact that call.
Yeah.
So being able to read that and understand that and trying to keep things in a positive light, and then
Yeah.
that just translates to providing really good service.
Yeah, definitely. And I like that you mentioned that. I know one thing I've seen with with us going into year 20, there's a lot of ADC pride going on right now.
Yes.
It's really cool. And a lot of that's been organic. Like we've sent out some things for employees, and they're just sharing those right away. I'm not going to get too much into it, but a lot of exciting things coming up on social media and everything. So lots of ADC pride, which I think is really cool. And I don't think you see that a lot of different workplaces. So making ADC a place that um, you know things like that, you see all that, I think it does bring that stress level down a bit.
I
So
agree.
that's awesome. Now, so while you're in the thick of it, just going through, whether it's onboarding or 1099s or any sort of like one of those more stressful times at work, what tips
Yeah.
do you have to reduce stress in the workplace?
Mm, Good question. I think my first thing is always promoting self-care.
Hmm.
And I find like when I'm even in that place where I'm stressed, it seems counterintuitive. You think you just need to power through it. And usually the best thing you can do is step away. Step away for
Yeah.
a few minutes, take a walk or something, get some hydration. Um, 'Cause typically
Yeah.
when you're in that place, you're tense. So step away, do something, do some movement, promote self-care.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I mean, that's a hard thing for myself to do. So we do promote that a lot. And
Yeah.
then communication. I think just sharing how you're feeling with somebody immediately like eases that burden. You don't feel like you're alone. But also we walk that talk. And so there's so many times like there's so many creative ways that we have when somebody's in that place to give them assistance, whether it's additional resources, helping them reprioritize, really talking about is this important right now? So there's a lot of different ways that you can reduce stress. But a lot of it is you have to be looking for it. You have to listen and watch
Yeah.
for it.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. And it's important to identify those things, and a big part of communication is listening more than talking. So I think that's how the most effective communication comes about. So really good identifier there. Now, why should businesses prioritize reducing the impact of stress?
Which is neat. And I talked about it a little bit earlier, but it reduces that onboarding cost if you can retain the staff you have.
Yeah.
You've already committed to training them. They know your culture. And all that should translate to really good service, whether it's you're a service environment or you're even you're retail, you're building anything, manufacturing, all of that translates to people being more efficient, more effective. They like what they're doing.
Hmm. Love it. Awesome.
Yeah.
And
Improve your culture.
so yeah, definitely. So, I guess next we'll look at, this kind of taking a look at what steps can businesses take in reducing stress in the workplace.
Mhm.
I think a few things that we've kind of gathered from this episode are identifying stressful times that your business may come across throughout the year. Just knowing that those are coming up is huge because it kind of sets the tone. Next, reminding employees that we take on times like these as a team, approaching things as a team, letting them know that they're not alone. We're all going to get through this and achieve our goals together. I think there's comfort in numbers and strength in numbers. Being there to listen and advise when needed. You had mentioned promoting self-care. I think that's so important and something that's never talked about enough. So, it's something as simple as like, hey, why don't you, take a 10-minute walk, go get a drink of water, do something that relaxes you for a little bit. It's good to take those small breaks, especially in a virtual environment when we can get caught up in work. It's we love our work, so we get,
Right.
we're all guilty of it, I think. And recognizing employees for their efforts, by following stressful times with good times, a la our pizza party. So yeah, lots of good things here. I think that
Yeah.
that many people can apply, to their own daily lives, businesses, things like that. So I think this has been a really awesome episode. And with that, I think we're gonna wrap up today's episode of the Beyond the Books podcast, brought to you by accountingdepartment.com. And Jenny, just wanted to thank you so much for joining us today and giving us a look into how we can create that positive experience, even in times of stress or initial uncertainty. So I think that's where those truly good businesses thrive. So Jenny, did you have any closing remarks or anything like that that you wanted to share?
Oh, I'm just glad that I was invited. So thank you
Yeah,
very
yeah,
much. I had a great
definitely.
time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we appreciate you and your positivity and all that you do for our company. So thanks again for joining us. Now, everyone else, remember to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Drop us a review, throw us a like, help us start climbing those podcast ranks. Once again, I'm Kevin Dry, and we'll ADC you later.